On the plus side, Patrick Mahomes is up to his old tricks, and the offense looks good. On the bad side, a couple of injuries. We're going to get it today on the halftime report of Chiefs Live here on Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is a special bonus edition. We are live at the half on YouTube. If you happen to be here, come check it out. We appreciate that. If you're hearing this on replay, we're going to do this for the last preseason game. And if you guys have enough, desire for this, we may carry it forward. Lot to go over real quick on the first half because this is the bulk of what we're going to see with the starters. Patrick Mahomes looked like he is in midseason form, distributing the ball, moving the ball, using his legs, maybe a little bit more than I liked, but I thought they looked pretty clean on the one offense.
You know, I really liked the entire offense. I thought that they looked very clean and crisp. I thought that, you watch him move around, and I got to say, I tweeted this out during the game. Mahomes back to his left, throwing back across his body, side-armed, falling backwards into the middle of the field. I mean, it's just kind of one of those throws where, yeah, you don't do that as a QB. It still works for him. And I will say this. You look at what we saw from this game, and I said this on Twitter, and I'll say it here. Jody Fortson is going to be a big part of this offense. I don't care what anybody else says. He is going to be a big part of this offense.
They called me crazy when I called him tight end, too, about, 10 weeks ago. But that's the way it's going to work out. And the cool thing is he did it for multiple position sets. That first touchdown was lined up as a wide receiver because that's what he can do. His versatility is going to be key. I thought Noah Gray stood out as well, made a really nice adjustment on a ball that was a little bit under and inside. So those are your three. Blake Bell, he may return. They may keep four for those special things that Blake Bell does. But it is Jody Fortson at 2, and it is Noah Gray at 3. It's really not that complex to me.
No, it's not. And I think the other thing that you saw was Jody Fortson is in the same thought process and knows where to go and knows how to get his QB a window to throw the ball to, because that second touchdown was a broken play that they just ad-libbed, and he was able to get the feet in. And I will say this, on the first touchdown, I said this as well, that isn't necessarily close. It's really close to a fade route. It wasn't quite thrown like a fade route. But Fortson is the perfect guy to throw that type of ball to go up and get that ball. And he does a great job of getting his feet down. He did it on the second one, too, getting both feet down. So very impressive start for him. And you have to give props to Justin Watson as well. I think that he had a huge play during the first half. And obviously he's going to be on this roster. And congratulations to him, because to me, I think you and I both would agree that when it came to OTAs, we didn't think he had a chance. And now here he is making plays and showing up and showing that he's going to be on this roster.
Yeah, I had him on the outside in. I had him and Justin Ross in a battle to try to be the next guy behind Fountain. I do think it is very clear that he has progressed to the point, and this is going to be interesting. I'm going to say this now. This is a guy that couldn't make the connection with Tom Brady enough to get on their roster, but he's going to get on the field for this Chiefs team with Patrick Mahomes. Does that tell you anything about the difference in the quarterbacks? I think it does, but we'll just let that hang there, folks. I think he's clearly the 5 now. I think Fountain will make it.
Shots fired.
Hey, I'm firing away. It's halftime, man.
Yep.
He is the 5. I think Fountain is the 6. I think it's all pretty clear to me that this is wrapping up, and they broke camp this week. I don't know if they need to see a whole lot more.
No, I really don't think they do, and I think that they have a pretty good idea of who's going to be on their offense when it comes to the skill position players. I'm kind of questioning. Ronald Jones hasn't played that I've seen. That's interesting to me. I
question that, and I question one other thing, too, on the offensive side. They ran 4 verts again and again. Like, I saw it at least 3 times. So, for all of that, yes, we're going to spread it around, and yes, everybody's going to do a little bit. They're still trying to hit the home runs. They're still trying to pressure the high safeties with 4 verticals at a time, and I think that will eventually pay off.
Yeah, I just want to say really quick, Josh Gordon was on the field. Somebody's mentioned in the comments that he wasn't on the field. He did come on. I think Fortson's down pass, like the play before, I saw him on the field run that didn't get anywhere. But it was when Patrick was going to his right trying to find somebody, and Gordon was across the middle of the end zone. But what I will say is you look at the offense, I think skill position-wise, they know where they're going. Offensive line is still a little bit of a question for me. I'm really curious to see if they have the second-string offensive line come back in to start the third quarter. And then you look at the defense, and I know we haven't really flipped to that side of the ball yet, but I do want to say this. I thought that penalty that was called on Colin Saunders was a joke.
It was bad, but I will tell you this, from the way that his head snapped, like you could see that in a split second, the ref probably thought that Colin hit the bottom of the face mask and that pulled the chin down. And so he's just reacting to the head motion. It's a bad call, but I can understand why they maybe mistake it in real time. That should have been reviewed, because Colin, it was a great get off, a great swim, showing the kind of pass rush that Colin Saunders needs to show for this team. But hey, good for him for trying to just two-hand punch him in the chest. I thought it was absolutely fine.
Well, and the team is going to know that shouldn't have been a penalty, so it's not going to be something they're going to hold against him. But it ends up costing them a touchdown, because at that point that would have been 4th down and they would have kicked a field goal more than likely. So it is what it is. And I thought the defense looked pretty good against the Washington Redskins for the first half. For the most part, I think the first string defense looked really good. I liked what I saw from Nick Bolton. Liked what I saw from the corners, and I even liked Josh Williams' play on special teams, even though it got called for a penalty. That's one of the things where he did what he needed to do. He broke down. Yes, he got called for a penalty. It was a 15-yard face mask. He broke down and didn't let him get around him. That is going to pay dividends down the road when he plays special teams.
Yeah, I'm happy with where Josh Williams is. Again, he had the biggest leap to come up to this level of competition. You guys heard me talk about that in the draft process. But he's an 80% player right now. He's doing the bulk of things to get his coverage in alignment and stay in phase or break down on special teams. It's just finishing. It's the last 10, 20% of finishing plays, or he'd have had a pick today and he would have gotten that tackle clean. So it's just that little bit. But it does show you the difference between a guy that is ready to be the 5th corner, and hopefully Fenton's not hurt badly, because then he becomes the 4th and he's going to be on the field. Maybe he becomes the 3rd. And the difference between that and Trent McDuffie, who is polished and is playing all the way through the end of the plays. It's a minor detail, but that's the difference.
Yeah, but it becomes huge when you get into the regular season. This is when you want them making those types of mistakes. He will learn from that. I'm glad it actually happened during this game, because you learn from those types of things in the preseason. He will get the technique down and he'll be better. But to show what he was able to show and mirror the offensive player and not let him not get beat around the corner, I think is a great sign for him going forward for a special teams player. And, just tackles in the open field in general, that's a great sign. So then you start looking at the other players that kind of made a name for themselves a little bit. Karlaftis' sack. He was double covered. He was double blocked and still got the sack. That shows.
And I'm going to break that down. It does. Go ahead.
That shows his motor. That shows exactly what he does best. I mean, he doesn't quit. He's relentless, and it was fantastic to watch.
Well, it shows both things. It shows what he does best, and he has done, and he's got a new trick in his bag. I watched, must have been 6 games of George Karlaftis coming out of school. I didn't see a spin move once. So he's got his old effort. He's got his old power push. He's starting to put some new things together, and that's going to be what really elevates his game. I'm going to break that play down on RGR this week. You guys don't miss that. And just to back up to Josh Williams real quick, I'm not trying to say that he's doing anything incorrect. I'm saying that when you're a 4th-round pick from a low-level school, the jump is bigger, but he's made up 80% of it right now. I think he's actually progressed faster than I expected. So in no way am I trying to say he's not ready or he's doing anything wrong. I think he's in great position. And when he can get the last finishing touches, that 10, 20%, he's going to be in a position in years to come to be a starter on this roster.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I have to say, we're talking about CBs. I liked what I saw from Jalen Watson as well. He fought in the end zone. He was in great position, and that's all you can ask from a corner: be in the right spot, fight for the ball, and try to make it as clean as you can. And I thought Watson did a great job on that. What was it, a fade route?
Yeah, so. And that's what you'll see from Jalen. Like in the red zone, Jalen's better because he can't get burned over the top. That's his weakness, just like it was with Breezy and Sean Smith before him. So when he's able to stay physical, keep a guy in front of him and impede his route, he's in good shape. I think that's going to pay off. People are asking about MVS. I see MVS as getting better releases than I saw in Green Bay of late. Like, I'm happy with his progress. I in no way see a bust signing there.
I don't either. And the calling him a bust at this time of the preseason when Patrick missed him on 2 separate throws and maybe even 3, now I think about it, they have to get the chemistry. They have to get on the same page, and they have to be seeing the same things. That is what you work on in the preseason. That is what you work on in practice. They will get there in the regular season. And MBS could have had a very long touchdown if Mahomes doesn't overthrow him.
Yeah, absolutely. The second one, you could argue he should have caught it. That's fine. I'm not too concerned about that. Overall, I think they're making good progress. I think it's more apparent at how much Watson has adjusted, and not just to Patrick. It was from Bichelle last time, but I was happy to see him get some routes with the ones. Good for him. I am not concerned in any way about MVS.
Yeah, nor am I. And I think that when you add Hardman and you add Juju back to this offense, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, because you throw in Fortson, you throw in Kelsey, MVS, Juju, Hardman, and Sky Moore, because we haven't even talked about Sky Moore. He didn't do anything today. That's fine. They moved the ball around. They got the ball where it needed to go. They got Noah Gray involved. They got Justin Watson involved. And Watson, we talked about it early, his catch down the middle of the field was a great play on his part. And if he can make those types of plays, if he has to play this season, which he may have to with injuries and whatnot, that's all Kansas City can ask for. That's exactly what you want from a guy that's going to be your fifth wide receiver.
Yep. And remember what I told you guys before OTAs. This team needs to make its money between the hash marks. He ran a skinny post last week for a touchdown, and he ran that corner today. It's not going to be just him, but they have to attack the middle of the field. You're going to see more of that. Folks, halftime's almost over. We're going to let you go. Remember, we will have a show for you earlier tomorrow night for the Monday show. Make sure you check that out. Like, sub, and hit the bell on YouTube, and subscribe over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can leave us reviews there as well. Thanks for joining us for this quick halftime show. Enjoy the rest of the ballgame.